part of the song, though.
Right? All right, we're live. Why is this even dinging still?
It's
That is
dinging too much.
unacceptable. Oh, there it is. Oh, and of course it won't save lower thirds, because why would we need to save those?
Yeah, I hate that. I have to rebuild my lower thirds every time. Like, what's up?
Oh, I need a lower third.
And of course we're live. Hello, everyone. We're still getting set up.
Hey, just calm down a minute.
Yeah.
Everybody sit down.
Folks.
Oh, we're all sit down. Okay.
That's right. Just simmer down there. All right, that's good enough. It's as good as it's getting. This is a podcast. This isn't TV. This isn't made for TV movies. This is podcasting. If it was too perfect, people would be like, this is weird. It'd be like an uncanny valley, but for podcasting.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Also, if you run no script and then try to like do something in Hangouts that you haven't allowed already, it will just completely crash Hangouts, like the YouTube app, for example. For prime example. All right. Enough of this nonsense. Tuesday night. Hell yeah.
For centuries, we've been warned about little green men.
Now, they are coming. They're coming for you. Run. But first,
Shut your windows.
hide your apples. Prepare for the attack of the android. And now, your host and the human leader of the Android Underground, Matt Lee.
Dun, 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 dun. What's up, everybody? Today is Tuesday, July 1st, 2014. This is a hot one out there. This is episode 128 of Attack of the Androids. Every week, usually Tuesday evening right here. Live, check it out. attackoftheandroids.com. I'm Matt, and that's Eric. What's up, Eric?
Not much, Matt. Just looking for that mute button. Say hello to you.
Oh,
And
hey.
hi to Nick as well.
Also, Nick. What's up, Nick Carroll? How you doing?
Hey, guys. Glad to be back.
Gonna just adjust that. All right, we good? Okay, so Google I/O happened. Yeah.
Boy,
Ant-
did it.
I don't know where Ant's at. He was maybe gonna join us if he can. He was at like some extended thing because not a lot of press getting in, especially not unless you work for a giant corporation. I guess I don't know. But yeah, what did you guys think so far? The wearable stuff. Totally cool. The car stuff, eh. The box, I kind of want a box. I have a Moto X. I have the Spotlight player. Like, I would love to just strap that thing on and pretend I had an Oculus or something.
The cardboard thing, that was so weird.
Yeah, that was unexpected. I was like, what?
Yeah. So the cool thing, though, is because I was looking at all these components, I'm like, sure, maybe I'll put this thing together. But Dodo Case, the folks behind Dodo Case, I think they're offering it where they will pre-make it for you for like $20, and I kind of think that that's way worth it versus piecing it together yourself and having it look like crap.
Yeah.
But just for anybody that's listening or watching, the way that this thing works is it's cardboard, and it sort of looks like sort of like 3D glasses. You have these goggle things.
Yeah.
And or what?
Origami.
Origami. That's right. So you fold up your little cardboard and you put your phone in the front, like so, if you're watching the live thing, and it just sort of sits in front of your face, and it becomes, I don't know. I guess then the little lenses that have the phone in front of it becomes like Oculus Rift.
Yeah, it's a low-budget Oculus Rift that you can use with your existing smartphone, provided it's Android 4 point something like 2, and you download the like 300 meg app and you install it. But still, I mean, $20 to buy the cardboard thing, or if you have some cardboard lying around to assemble it yourself. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So yeah, that was neat. The car stuff, I it's funny. Sometimes we see rumors and they actually turn out to be true, and I think this was one of them. The interface looked almost identical to what we talked about. What was it, like maybe 2 months ago in the show?
Yeah.
So that was neat. Watches.
It's kind of, yeah, well, I mean, the Android Auto stuff is kind of neat if you're going to get a brand new car that'll have that maybe next year. But for everyone else that maybe wants, an aftermarket kind of thing, there's nothing out for that either. So I don't know.
Yeah, for us folks that don't buy new, it's kind of whatever.
Well, supposedly some aftermarket companies are going to be getting in on that, but I didn't catch who that was, and it doesn't help me now. But so yeah.
Yeah. What else? What was like? Were you guys impressed with the wearable stuff? I mean, that was sort of the big takeaway from the show.
I was, because to me it makes a watch more valuable. Because just to be honest, I don't need an actual bona fide watch, because all it does is tell you the time. But a smartwatch I could use because it'll actually work with the smartphone and do a lot of other things. So to me, that's something. So.
I mean, a smartwatch is like one step away from Inspector Gadget and Penny. Brain, come in.
Yeah.
I mean, that's cool. I look at it as more of an iterative step between implantables. Like, we're fine, but like, you gotta wear them. It needs to be like in you, all. You.
See, that would have been a great slogan. Android Wear, it needs to be in you.
Android Wear, all up in you.
That's right. Closer to you than anything else, yeah, pretty much.
Right. But that's kind of like
feel
this is that it's that step in between. Like, if you read Kurzweil's Age of Spiritual Machines, he makes all those epic predictions, right? And in there, that this is one of those. Of course, a few years later but still a good stepping stone for what we hope one day to have.
And the cool thing is, I mean, it's like a couple $100 for either of these. Like, one's $229 for the Samsung Gear Live, and it's like $199 for the LG G watch. That's pretty inexpensive. I mean, for a good watch, you might spend $250 for a really good watch. This isn't as stylish, but I'm sorry, go on.
I was just gonna ask, why do you put it in a watch? You put it in something people used to wear. Why don't you put it in something people currently wear, like a hat or
or underwear,
or
a hat, a monocle?
You wear those underwear? Or that, yeah. I mean, a watch just seems like one of those deprecated things we all used to like have.
It's empty real estate, man.
Well, maybe it'll bring back the watch. I don't know.
Are we that used to not having crap on our wrists? Like, a watch would feel weird to me now if I wore one, because I haven't worn one in so long.
Well, for me, I've never really needed a watch. I mean, even for the last 10 plus years, I've had some sort of either a smartphone or a dumb phone, and you could tell the time that way. So for me, a watch wouldn't matter. But if you have something that allows you to have pretty much the bulk of the functionality you have on your smartphone, but you don't have to pull your smartphone out of your pocket. Or if you're like me, like I'll come home, leave my smartphone on my desk, but I'll walk around the house. I can still get my notifications. So that's kind of value there. So it just depends. But I like it because it gives you added functionality. So go on, Eric.
That's why I really like the Pebble until it got all buggy as hell. It's that I could leave the phone somewhere. I never wore watches because I don't know, like, it just bothered me having things on my wrist. But I very quickly got over that hump.
No, like, you didn't.
Yes, I did. And the only thing that stopped me was it just stopped working. Like, it stopped working the way it was supposed to. But the Android Wear, they look. The concepts look good. The thing that I'm disappointed about is that they led with the LG and the Moto. I mean, they led with the LG and the Samsung, and they did not lead with the Moto 360. And that's the watch that everybody that I was following at I/O. That's the one that everybody wanted to get because it looked the nicest.
Yeah,
it just looked like the best phone.
Yeah, I was watching Google I/O, or at least part of it. I couldn't watch the whole thing. I didn't have enough time because I was working. But the part that I caught was like they were announcing the watches and they mentioned the 360, and you heard like a sigh, like that they were like they're going to get one or both the other watches, but they weren't going to get that. And you heard like this audible sigh, the whole room, that they weren't getting the Moto 360. So yeah, everyone wants that.
Can I just a little bit of a pet peeve is that during the show, because I was following it live, I was following the Verge's live coverage, and when they started talking about all of the like actual technical bits about like things that they're improving or changing, every tech journalist on the web started bitching, as if this wasn't a developer conference.
Yeah.
So I just needed to say that because
Well,
like, they don't even really talk about it in the Verge's article that we have in the show notes.
Yeah, and they don't treat the Apple's developer conference the same way. They're not bitching endlessly about the things that they're talking there. They understand that this is stuff that's coming down the pipe. You may get a device, announced or something, but likely you're going to get all this information about upcoming features, the iOS is going to have or whatever. Same thing with Android. We're going to get Android L down the line. This is the stuff we're going to implement here with Android Wear and all this other stuff. So yeah, I don't see why it has to be so innately negative from the tech press. Who, I mean, this is what fuels them. This is what gets them their audience. All these things. So anyway, so I don't know.
Yeah. It was weird, but okay. Android L, you brought that up, so that was the big one. And one of the interesting things from this year's Google I/O is that, yes, mind blown. One of the interesting things is that in previous Google I/Os, we typically got a device like an Nexus 7, Nexus 4, like a new phone or a tablet, and then coupled with that was the latest version of Android, which was then available.
Yeah.
The final version was available at I/O or shortly after.
Yeah.
Now, Google L, the L release, we don't even know the actual name. Hopefully it's not Lollipop or something. But
Lifesaver.
it is Yes, this one's sponsored by Lifesaver. But it's not going to be available until the fall. But they're going to have a preview version available for. Well, now I just read an article as we started the show that it's available for the Nexus 4, Nexus 5, 7. Like it's available for all of the recent Nexus devices, even the 10. So Matt can get in on that action.
That's what I'm talking about. That 10 needs some upgrade love for sure. I finally wiped it just to see. I was like, you know what? I don't even care anymore. It's so laggy. I just don't even use it. I turn it on and then go back in the house and watch an episode of House or something and then come back and it's ready for me to swipe to unlock. It's ridiculous. But after the wipe, it seems better. I haven't really done much but played a little Riptide GT2, but it seems better. So maybe that's the garbage collection they were talking about, that it just gets full unless you wipe it.
Yeah. Well,
it's also old, so who knows?
Well, and I think you brought this up on your post on Google Plus because we were talking, a little while back on the show with I think it was Shane saying that sometimes they just use cheap flash memory, so then it goes bad over time, and that's what slows it down. So, yeah.
But well, I gotta say, my original Nexus 7 has been performing fine, but I use it infrequently. I don't use it super heavy. I read, check emails, etc. before I go to bed, with it, but I don't use it a lot. And that's, to me, it seems like new, simply because I guess I'm not using it as much over time. So. Yeah.
Well, it should feel more like new. I mean, aside from the fact that a lot of things in L are not implemented yet, or they're still buggy. It's running completely on ART, which is the new runtime. So they've gotten rid of Dalvik, and we have an article in the show notes from I think ours where they did battery life tests, and using on a Nexus 5 with KitKat they got 345 minutes of use, and then with the Android L preview it was 471. So it seems to be getting a lot better with ART, and they even that stupid little bug report that we talked about where the guy asked for give me the supercharged fast thing for Android.
Good.
Apparently this is it.
There was an right? It's real, because somebody was like, it'll be announced at I/O, totally sarcastically joking, but then it was, and they were like, All right. Well, now we're just waiting for all the apps to catch up with it, right?
Yeah.
We still
Well, one of the things I like with Android L is that they had that new material design UI that they're basically coming out with. It's a replacement for Hollow, Yellow, whatever. Anyways, Hollow.
Hello.
But yeah, that's coming out, and I think that's pretty exciting because it looks pretty cool. And actually, it sounds almost like they want Chrome to do the same thing. So they're going to have this card UI looking design, and it's going to be 3D elements kind of built into it, like to where certain things are going to be in the background, certain elements are going to be in the foreground, and based on your actions, different things will, you have different drop shadows and stuff like that. So that's kind of cool. It's actually, we seem to have been going more flat with Hollow, but now we're going to have kind of a semi 3D kind of deal. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and doesn't Matthias Duarte look like Willy Wonka? Let's be honest. Like this man is just going crazier as the years go by.
Yeah, his mutton chops were kind of, I don't know what was going on there, but that was kind of weird as well. I mean, but yeah, the rainbow just completely kaleidoscope, shirt under that jacket.
Yeah, he lost his mind. Well, this is cool because I really like the stuff that he designs because he came from the Palm team, didn't he? Am I remembering that right? Like he was involved with the Pre. So
yeah, I think so.
Really liked the Pre.
Yeah, well, he's big into the whole card UI, and I do like this more uniform look. We had debated in the past about potentially like Chrome OS and Android OS somehow merging or something, but I think they're only going to make them look alike. And one of the aspects that they also mentioned was like having some Android apps run on Chrome OS as well. So that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, that was one of those things that I still can't recall them saying like a date when this is going to happen, but I did think that was kind of cool. Like having some of the Android apps be compatible with Chrome OS, because that just makes that just increases the usability of Chromebooks, which I like my Chromebook, but sometimes you just don't have the tools.
Yeah, sometimes you need more than what's on there. So yeah.
So and then hey, if I can just have the phone sitting on the table, and then I just pull up the app I need to do whatever, then that's really cool.
Yeah.
It goes back to the terminal days, right? I mean, you guys might talk, but that's kind of what it reminds me of. It's like, okay, very good. Moving on.
That's awesome. See here, there's a lot more for I/O. The fitness stuff, that's sort of interesting.
We're not really interested in fitness, so yeah, except for Ant.
Well,
how about the living room stuff? Android TV announced.
Oh yeah.
And that's, like we mentioned at the top of the show, one of the predictions, right?
Yeah, they actually have an actual TV box. It's not just, hey, here's what you can use if you're building a smart TV. It's, hey, here's a box with Android TV, and it's like a Roku or Apple TV or whatever. So that's kind of cool.
Ant Pruitt joining us. He was actually down there in the area, in the vicinity of I/O. As a Logitech review owner, are you miffed about Android TV?
No, I'm excited for Android TV because it looks like they're actually going to get some type of love and get some, timely updates and maybe grow a little bit, other than being some type of hobbyist device the way Apple is treating their TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it irritates me. Like they start these little platforms and then they just dump them. I don't want to go Android TV. Screw it. I'll stay with my Roku.
You're just whining. You're just whining still about the queue, and that's fine. I understand that. I still wish I had.
That queue was something else.
What would be cool is if they at least allow the Android L, or TV's version of L, to load up on the old Google TV and the old Nexus Q, and at least be useful that way. Turn those into the new Android TV. So that'd be kind of cool.
I like how they're going to a Men in Black naming scheme. I expect great things from M, N, O, and P.
Right. Not cute.
They're like, wait, That kid on Attack of the Androids said we were going to run out of numbers because we're going to make the Nexus 8, 9, and then the 10 already, so we need to switch this up a little. More letters than numbers. I like it.
So, Ant, how was the barbecue?
I
Or the
didn't
barbecue,
get
if we
to go to the barbecue. I wish I was there. I left at noon, and the barbecue started at noon.
Oh,
Oh, jeez. So, what was your favorite part of the experience?
Well, just being in downtown San Francisco and seeing all of the geeks and nerds just walking around together, and it seemed so normal, and there was all of these blue Google shirts and all of these tags, and glass was everywhere, and it just seemed like they were supposed to be there. You know what I mean? It was so big. Yeah, and even like the security there, you could have walked by with some type of contraption strapped to your head that was semi Google Glass, and security would have just nodded and said, "Okay, you're fine." It's like you just fit in.
It's because their glass was doing all the recognition for them.
Right, they're scanning you at the same time.
They're like, man, I knew you were able to come in here the second you got out the car and the cameras did face rack on you.
They're like excuse me, yes, Ant Pruitt of Yats, please just move along, sir.
Yeah, just move along.
We don't care what's on your head.
Take that silly piece of cardboard off your head. What is that, a cereal box? Get out of here.
But
what
it was
about
awesome, man.
The Chromecast streaming through the cloud? Still not really doing what I need it to do, but that's fine. I mean, that's totally fine.
Well,
what do you need it to do?
Okay, that's...
I don't want to tell you because you're going to tell me to use Plesk, and I'm not.
Here we go. Here he goes.
No, we're not even.
now go for it, Eric.
But, they are going to implement the cast screen button finally. That's pretty cool.
I had that button. It just didn't do nothing.
It doesn't do anything now.
Right?
It's horrible. I wonder if they've shot themselves in the foot.
Maybe. You press it.
Nobody's going to use it.
Sorry, Matt. I can't do that.
No, sir, not yet. So that's going to give us sort of like Apple. What do they call the feature where it does screen mirroring? It's escaping me now.
AirPlay, yeah.
AirPlay. So that'll be AirPlay functionality via Chromecast, which is kind of neat. The Chromecast, the $35, becomes more and more useful as time goes on, which is more than we can say for the Nexus Q. Am I right? Come on.
One thing I'm looking forward to about that whole casting the screen is Google Earth on my television.
Yeah.
My hardheads, they're so fascinated by the Google Earth app. Ideally, whenever we travel back to my hometown, it's just a little 2-hour drive, not too far. But they love pulling up the tablet, which is tethered to the phone, and pulling up that app and just watching the landscape change and so forth, or pulling up grandma's house and seeing what her yard looks like. And to be able to let them explore on a bigger screen and let them see what Alaska looks like right about now. What does Brazil look like right about now? I think that's going to be pretty cool.
A less educational use for it that they might like is they could probably just throw Minecraft up on the TV too, and then they have
I will not allow that. They're already on my damn computer with that stuff. No, I'm not having it on my TV. That's not happening. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Get your own.
Just
TV.
wait. One day they're gonna hit that cast screen button and say, "Holy crap, it works!"
Yeah.
I guess it'd be Minecast. Yeah.
You're gonna see ripples through Google Plus the day that happens because there's gonna be a Nexus 7 going right through a Hisense Pulse or whatever.
Oh boy! Quick, fast.
Right. It'll explode.
Hand me that one, Max. We already talked about the desktop Android apps on Chrome. That's pretty cool. Did we mention Office and Drive? Open Office going bye-bye. Drive doing more. Sheets, docs, all that, yeah?
Yeah, they bought Quick Office. What do you think, Ant? Sorry.
Did I say Open Office?
Yeah, I think that's big. The only caveat as I mentioned on the new domain here recently, is security. You know, if the enterprise were to try to take a hold of this, you're going to have some type of security in place, especially when it comes to drive encryption and something that would be just as secure as Exchange is. Not that Exchange is super secure, but you know, what kind of options of security would a Chromebook have for enterprise? Yeah, you can open spreadsheets and edit them and documents and so forth. That's a big freaking win there. So I know I've been down that road, opening up a document and have to view it in Google Docs, edit it, save it as a Word doc, then send it back. You know, just 2 extra steps that was just not necessary. You know.
Yeah, and you know, I feel like I'm looking for the article now, but I want to say one of those like hidden things that they announced at Google I/O was the ability to encrypt in Google Drive. So the fact that they have business plans, if you're big enough, you can even self-host your own drive, I believe. But
Nice.
you know, the ability to encrypt as well. Yeah, I mean, I think we're closer to enterprise, but if you're really security conscious, I don't think that you're going to be using. I don't think that you're going to really be using Google Apps necessarily. Here we go.
How security
I found the article.
are we talking? Eric,
Well,
so
likely-
how security conscious are we talking?
Well,
What do you
again, people in corporations travel all day long with these different laptops and tablets or what have you, and they're stolen all the daggum time. You know, and
Remote.
Yeah, you're gonna have to have some type of ability to if possible, to do like a remote wipe on it, or at least put some type of encryption on it. It's gonna make it a little more difficult to crack. You know.
Until you can wipe it. That's all
Yeah.
you
Until
need.
you can wipe
Just
it.
Yeah, some
buy yourself
enterprises- Yeah. Well, some enterprises will either A, supply you with something with all their software, you know, that you can that you can use, and then it'll basically, you know, if it does get lost, you can do a remote wipe. Or if you do a bring your own device kind of deal, they make you install their software essentially, and it audits what software you can have on that device, and then you use that, so they could do that. So that's what a lot of enterprises do for security. They either supply you with a device or make you install their software on your device in the event that you put their files essentially on your device. So
Yeah, but then you deal with OS compatibility from that
Yeah.
standpoint. You know.
yeah,
I mean, it'd be nice if it could function like the God, I can't believe I'm about to say this. Function like the BlackBerry devices,
yeah,
you know, and have that secure side for your corporate information, and then your personal side on that other partition.
Yeah.
I guess they partitioned it off. I think they did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So two quick points. So I've just been informed by one of our listeners that Google Apps is HIPAA compliant. So there is a level of security that comes apparently with Drive already.
That says a lot.
And what's that?
I say that says a lot.
Yeah, I mean HIPAA these are the laws that govern data and they govern privacy for health records. So
Yep.
if it's good enough if it's good enough for the health industry, like that's a decent bar to look at. Secondly, you know, if you're really concerned about privacy in the enterprise, I think we're going to talk about it later, but the reviews for the Blackphone are coming in. And that seems very interesting with the, you know, remote wipe capabilities and things like that. So yeah.
Well, let's talk about it now. Why put it off?
Who
It's
came
fine,
up
Matt.
with the Blackphone? Wasn't that like a concept a month or so ago? Seems like I remember Matt Lee talking about it on Google Plus.
they've had that concept maybe for about a year, but I think they finally pushed it out like a month or plus ago, to where you can actually pre-order, and then the pre-orders they sold out. I don't know if they've got more stock in since, but it seems like with whatever supply they have, they're at least selling out of that. So that's good, at least in their aspect. So
I'm curious
Yeah.
if the crypto is implemented on really.
I would
Well,
imagine so, but I don't know.
Yeah,
Go for it.
Dan Godin on ours, he looked at it. They said they found the Blackphone lives up to its privacy hype. During the testing in a number of scenarios, there was little, if any, data leakage that would give any third-party observer anything usable in terms of private information. And that's not necessarily encrypting. That's just feeding apps bunk info, right? Spoofing info, contact lists, calendar, stuff like that, so that the apps don't have that access. So you can still use an app, right? But without giving it all your stuff.
Yeah. So I guess so. Let's back up a little bit. We can talk about the phone and then the actual software on it. It's the specs seem very similar to the Moto X that you have in your hand.
It does.
4.7 inch, screen. It's got 8 megapixel camera, 2 gigahertz NVIDIA chip, which is interesting.
Yeah, that's about comparable to the Snapdragon 800 in terms of like compute power. The screen itself is going to be like 720p. It's HD from what I remember. So yeah, it's kind of very much like the Moto X. So
yeah, and hardware. I was a little worried because everything we've seen so far have just been renders, and honestly, it looked like a crappy little block phone. But according to the guys at ours, they said that it feels nice, like the look and feel is not bad. So I don't know. I don't. Still, there have not been very many actual pictures because they just started shipping. But hardware-wise, like it seems decent, and it does have a micro SD slot too, which is kind of cool because it only has 16 gigs of storage. Though that in itself could be a vector, if you will, for nasties.
An attack vector.
An attack vector.
I dropped an infected micro SD and you inadvertently inserted it into your Blackphone, and now all of your infos are mine.
Lovely.
Exactly.
That happened.
So software-wise, you get 2 years of silent circles, secure voice, video, and text messaging, which that in itself, I think that's like $99 a year typically. Then you get 2 years of disconnect VPN service, which, as far as I can tell, that disconnect is just like pay what you feel. So I don't really know what the value is for you could place on that. And then you get 2 years of Spider Oak storage at like 5 gigs a month, which I think that's what their typical free is.
Yeah, and that's a decent service from what I read, or it used to be. I don't know if it still is. The other two things, I mean, you can do Text Secure and Red Phone for a free version of these, probably with different crypto implement. But do you pay for this? Like $100 a month to do something?
No, you get
for free.
You get it for free for the first 2 years.
Right, but then after that, I mean, do you still have your phone after that, or not?
That's the question.
Not many.
That's
Not
planned
many.
obsolescence then baked into the firmware.
well, at that point you buy a new Blackphone, I guess, and you're already subscribed, so you probably just update your subscription based on the new purchase. They probably have that all worked out. At least I would imagine. So
I think that's the idea. And then you get 3 1-year like friends and family subscriptions for Silent Circle. So it's sort of a way to get other people to buy into the ecosystem without necessarily having to purchase something up front.
a family plan. Got it.
Family. It's the
I'm
Silent
curious.
Circle family plan, so don't talk about it.
I'm not fully educated on this Blackphone, but how are the carriers reacting to a device like this?
I suppose since it's unlocked, I guess that is a good question. I don't know.
I have
you
not
buy
seen
it
any
and take
reaction
it
from
to-
the carriers.
Right, you buy it, you take it to VZW or whomever, and are they going to bitch about it being so locked down or feeling like this is too risky for our network for whatever reason? Stranger things have happened. You know what I mean? I'm just curious.
Well, look at the way that Verizon acted with the new Nexus, like the 2013 Nexus 7 LTE. Like they delayed getting that thing LTE access for almost 6 months, if I remember right. Like, maybe 4 or 5. But you make a good point. Now it is GSM only though, so the only people that could really make a fuss about it would be AT&T, T-Mobile, and like the small MVNOs.
Well, we know T-Mobile will be fine with it.
Yeah, right.
They're like the libertarians of the carriers.
But yeah, so they, I don't know. Like, I really don't think that they could. I don't know that it would necessarily look that different to them because some people, a small amount, use VPN already on their phones. Like, it's a built-in feature to Android. It's a built-in feature to Apple. Businesses use it. So as far as like this traffic looks different than that traffic, I don't think it's going to be anything that they have not seen. So it remains to be, only time will tell. Remains to be seen. But I think it would be okay. Just thinking about it.
Right.
Yeah. And then the other thing that they offer that we talked about CyanogenMod having, which is the ability to, to spoof your data or lock down what certain apps can get access to.
Okay.
Handy.
Yeah.
I dig
you're not going to get many
fact
apps.
that- Yeah.
What do you dig, Matt? Sorry. That lag is killing me.
It is, right? I dig the fact that it comes with like anonymizers and stuff to spoof your data and all that. That's cool. I don't know. I'm like trying to find about what it's actually using for crypto and the messaging and everything. Oh, it's using like the Jabber protocol. So that's all right, right? I mean, if you're really worried about something like that, are you using your phone anyway? I don't know.
I guess if you have a business or you work in an industry where the day-to-day information could be valuable to somebody, I'm trying to think like if it could lead to like insider trading or something like that. Like there are instances, or even just a doctor talking to the office about patients. Like there are instances where you might want to take more precautions with your security, and sometimes you have to use your phone.
And they did go through it. They said they placed a few calls to each other, both video and voice, reviewed the packets they captured. He says, I could see the exchange of public keys with a Silent Circle server, and then everything that followed was encrypted UDP traffic to an IP address that resolved as another Silent Circle server. Okay, so we good? If someone was monitoring, they say, our call from one end or the other, all they would know is that we were sending and receiving packets from Silent Circle. Not that we were having a conversation with each other or the contents of it.
Yeah, they couldn't see it. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, they say the same was true for silent text. Packet capture of a conversation caught on it caught the initial exchange of keys, like even like in TextSecure when you do the key exchange, through a HTTPS connection to Silent Circle's login server, and then messages themselves were just blocks of encrypted text in TCP packets. So it's not doing carrier end-to-end encryption. It's using data and encrypting it that way as just packets, which is probably a lot easier to do because then you don't necessarily. Well, I don't know. Would you have to have the same on each end at that point if it's just data packets encrypted? Like I could text someone on TextSecure or Google Voice with it, and it wouldn't matter. Like with TextSecure, it has to be client to client.
Yeah, TextSecure to TextSecure.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. Let's see. They said that they successfully remotely deleted a few documents that were sent in chat, turned on burn notice, and watched messages self-destruct out of the chat thread. So that's cool. As far as the VPN goes, they say disconnect searches did their job of keeping Google from identifying, but the need to turn on the VPN for private browsing became readily apparent when I found a geolocation cookie being passed to Wikipedia in the clear. Once I switched on Disconnect's VPN, there was absolutely nothing to sniff from my web visits. So that's cool. He says, for my last trick, I unleashed a malicious wireless access point on Blackphone, first passively listening and then actively trying to get it to connect. I captured the MAC address of the phone's Wi-Fi interface passively, but was unable to get it to fall for a spoofed network or even give up the names of its trusted networks. So between Dan Godin and his buddy here, they say it's pretty damn secure. So I would trust that. I would like a few more researchers, crypto people to pound on it just to make sure, but that's cool, man. It's definitely better
I'm sure
than
we're going to get that soon. Like, I don't know if Steve Gibson ordered one, but, like, the fact that they're shipping now, like, if you give it a few weeks, like, by the time that they're actually available to buy again, I think we're going to have a lot more information about the actual security of it.
It's the terrorist phone.
That's right. Now, one thing that is kind of, like, well, two things that kind of disturb me about it a little bit is that, like, I think that Matt touched on it a little bit. I think that it uses data for all this stuff. So, like your call quality, if that's using data, that's going to depend heavily on how good of data that both sides have. So that might be a no-go for some people.
Yeah. Also, any latency that might be introduced by additional hops between one end to the other. So that could also be an issue.
What about this? If all of this encryption connectivity is happening to Silent Circle servers, you can see that. What's to stop anyone from then just attacking the Silent Circle servers themselves with the FBI letter or something like that? We know you're talking through this, so it must be something important. It just seems like, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say it partly depends on their data retention policy, how long they're going to keep those keys,
and
where
right?
Yeah, and where they're located. Yeah.
Well, we know where they're located. They're located just outside of D.C. So,
does that make you feel better or worse about this?
Well, that highly depends. And I think that, like, because we when they launched Silent Circle, I started looking at some of their investment stuff, and I forget what I'm trying to find my research that I did again, but like. I would not consider this safe from everybody, if that makes sense. Like I think that these guys, like if the government came to them with a security letter and said give it up, they're gonna give it up. So
they wouldn't just burn everything.
No, I think it's private communication from your neighbor. That's what you're buying.
Yeah, some encryption is better than no encryption, and you can't cover every base, but you can cover as many bases as you possibly can.
You can cover the bases you're going to use to do your shady shit.
There you go.
Right? Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. And the other thing is that the other bad thing that folks don't realize that if you want this phone, like you're giving up the Google Play Store. Like you're going to be sideloading stuff, and when you sideload stuff, like if you're stupid about it, you could be sideloading something that completely negates all of the handy-dandy, security features on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
So
but if you're doing that, you have this Blackphone as your secondary device, right? This isn't your main daily driver unless you're an agent.
And you're probably only going to, but you're probably only going to put on there what you absolutely need. So
I would also appreciate if you could stop using the T word.
Yes. Ixnay on the Aristay. Wow. Yeah. I don't know. As a secondary device though, $600 something is a little steep.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah.
But if your business buys it, then who cares?
You can chat with your girlfriend.
I mean, if your government buys it for you, then who cares?
It's free phone, citizen.
I mean, it's just like the rest of us are paying it anyway. It's basically you're getting a subsidized phone then at that point, subsidized by we the people, so that you can do your spy stuff or whatever. All right, moving on, please.
Make a valid point, sir.
Thank you. Let's move on.
Okay. What are we moving on to, Matt?
That's a good question. Do you want to talk about phones or games or some miscellaneous? Did you see Google bought Songza? Songza Stark?
Songza Stark. Yep.
For how much? How many Instagrams? as we all click the link. Load that sucker.
It didn't say it in the. It didn't say it in the Google Play.
Yeah, the
Google
articles
Play.
that I've looked at hasn't displayed how much it was purchased for. Probably not as much as a Twitter.
I'm gonna use my brain, and I'm gonna say $500 million, so maybe 500 million.
That's what I
That'd
would
be my
guess.
guess.
That's what I guess, because they already have a music service that's doing fairly well.
Yeah,
why
they
put a
want to
crap
boost.
ton more?
Yeah, they want to boost the functionality of that, I'm sure, by this acquisition.
Talent.
Yeah, so Songza is that's the one where they have they have seasoned professionals creating your playlists. Is that right, or am I thinking of something different?
I know Beats does that.
No, Songza will pick your mood or genre preference of music. You can tap I energize me, I want to go for a run, and it'll pick just something like that, or you'd be like, yo, I'm just trying to chill and smoke some weed and just hang out, and it's gonna start playing Bob Marley or something. I don't know. I found an article on
Three Little
Forbes,
Birds on repeat.
possibly 15 million, but they're not sure. Those are early rumors, so that seems wicked low, but I don't know. It's not anything I ever use, but
Yeah,
I've heard of it, but I don't know anything about the service.
It senses your time of day and will suggest curated playlists like mellow escapist evening or classic pop wake up call.
Well, that ties into Google's way of thinking.
Absolutely.
All of the extra signals of when you wake up in the morning, you turn your air conditioner to such and such degrees, Nest. You turn on this and that track as you're getting yourself dressed and drinking your coffee. That's Google Music. That's just more signals, and I can see that playing into their wheelhouse.
They do it seamlessly in Google Music. I'm not going to download songs and do that, but if it's another little thing in Google Music and they can do it without making it slow and crappy, then that'd be kind of cool, actually.
It'd be an alternative to their algorithmically generated playlist. You click on play this radio. So yeah.
I want to say Spotify used to do a similar thing with having like a mood plugin inside of their app. I don't think you had it in the web interface, but I want to say they had like a mood plugin that sort of learned you during the day kind of thing. I have to dig back through that, but I like the idea. It's just more signals.
Hey Eric, how mad are you that this will never get incorporated into the queue?
Nexus queue! Damn it! No, I really don't care. I'm over it.
I would care if I had one. I care for you.
I'm really curious if this is gonna we have another story where it's suggested that maybe Google's gonna change the name of Google Play Music All Access to something else that's equally.
Music, what am I playing?
Well, I wonder if maybe they just turned Google Play Music All Access into Google Songza. That would be better. Roll everything into Songza.
Yep. A Stark move. I like it.
Yeah, because whatever.
Good.
Yeah, good. Well, amazing.
We have a generic email app in the Play Store. That sounds interesting.
This is the crappy email app that everybody tries to uninstall whenever they get their new device, isn't it?
No, wait a minute. Which one?
Did anybody use that?
The generic email with the yellow icon.
Yeah, I use that on my Nexus for corporate mail.
Oh, yeah, I saw that when we were in Vegas, and I was like, why are you using that, dude?
I used it for corporate. I liked it. I thought it was simple enough. It was much better on the Nexus, though. On the tablet, though.
I use it as well.
I like it better than the Sense version that I'm suffering through right now.
Well, that bar's high, isn't it? I like it better than Sense.
Well, it's better than TouchWiz.
It is But no, I haven't really been happy with a lot of the other third-party mail clients as far as hooking into an Exchange server. There was one that was really popular. I think it was called Touchdown or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
I just didn't like the feel of it. So I just got used to goofing would stop.
Yeah, I've tried many email apps in the past. I tried Touchdown for a little bit too. I think it's like nothing comes close on Android to Gmail.
Exactly,
And
freaking Gmail. Let me have that for exchange.
I want to see Pine on Android.
Oh wow, yeah.
So Eric,
Pine?
you use a lot of email clients. How many keyboards would you say you use?
well, Matt, I'm a one keyboard guy ever since Google introduced that little swipe, functionality into their keyboard.
Oh, so you're not even SwiftKey in it, huh?
No, I've given up. I stay at home with this one.
Why is that? Don't trust the
Because-
third parties?
No, it's just the stock one is good for me. I like it.
Really? Have you seen what the new SwiftKey themes look like? Can I just show you this little piece of beautiful theme design? Here's our chat from earlier. Boom! Look at that. Oh, that's a little bit
See
of.
that
It's beautiful.
enhanced.
Enhanced. Yeah, I don't know, but I like it.
Makes sense.
Don't ever say that.
It does. That keyboard
Them's
looks like
fighting
the
words.
keyboard.
I like that there's no numbers on it. There's no lines. It's just a plat of letters, and if you know where the numbers are, you can long press on them. I kind of like that because I know where the numbers are.
Nerd.
So Minuum on the Moto 360, Ant Pruitt. Can you picture people typing on their little crappy watches? Actually, the 360 is cool, but would you type on it? Isn't that you're talking to it? Why are you?
Dude, I picture somebody trying it.
That's
But
what
that's
it's made for. That's definitely what Minuum was made for, if anything, right? Is just the smallest screen you can imagine.
Well, you know what? I would not. All right, Minuum is hard enough to use with two thumbs, in my opinion, unless you're just really geared to use it. But wouldn't like a swipe style keyboard be good on a smartphone? Because you only get one finger, or maybe two. I don't know how you do that, but one finger to put stuff on there. Maybe a swipe type interface would be better on a smartwatch. So
Maybe
I don't know.
no keyboard on a smartwatch would be.
You know what
great.
I want to see on the smartwatch is the old school iPod click wheel. You
Oh
just
wow.
click. I want it to click. Like, oh, that'd be awesome.
Maybe so.
Just wrong.
No, it would be. You know it would be.
Just wrong, dude.
Speaking of just clicking, Matt,
Oh,
can we talk about the Ouya?
absolutely, Eric. We sure can.
What the hell is it?
So
Ouya?
well, you wouldn't be alone in that sentiment, Ant. Ouya is.
That's the show. Thanks for listening.
So Ouya was the little indie game console that could. It was, it's about yay big. Hold on, I have one.
No way.
I'm not surprised he had the queue.
You know where it's at? It's in his little graveyard. It's sitting next to Google Wave and Android Q.
That's right, poor thing. So this is the Ouya. It's a little box, and you can see. Look at that.
Yeah.
So it's a game console, and it has a lot of the same games that are on the Android store. But they have their own app store and all that good stuff, and their big push was to get indie developers to develop for the platform because it would be one platform that they could get into people's TVs and all that good stuff with. Unfortunately, that really didn't work out too well because people realized, why am I buying these apps twice? Especially the good apps, the really nice game apps that cost $10 or more. Nobody really wanted to. I certainly didn't want to make that purchase twice. But now, I got an email the other day from them saying that they're going to test out this service. $60 a year, but you get access to their entire mobile game library. So all 800 games you get access to for $60. What do you guys think? Is this a good deal? Like, I don't know how much you spend on games throughout the year. Do you think it's going to equal $60?
$60 per year for your mobile gaming experience, essentially, even though it's plugged into your television. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Now you get access to all of the games, or do you have to buy them now?
all
So
the
you get access to the Final Fantasies, the Grand Theft Autos. You get access to the crappy little, Bejeweled clones. Like,
That's more interesting. I wonder if they're making a move more towards the software, just being a software company rather than a hardware. Because we haven't seen, they said they were going to come out with the Ouya a year essentially. We've only ever seen one Ouya ever, and interesting. So,
Well, yeah,
they just announced too that their store is going to be available on the Mad Catz Mojo, the other, one of the other things.
Yeah, good point.
I wonder
Yeah, Matt.
what the developers think about that though. Like, is it less money for them, or more? Are less of them going to be inclined to code for the Ouya? And I mean, you can see them doing this, right? Because you have Android TV, Chromecast, stuff like that that's coming. Like, they don't need to make the hardware. All they need to do is add the software in there that turns into a game. Why doesn't Google just buy them already?
Yeah.
Because Google has half a brain.
There you go. Google has all.
They blew all their money on Songza.
We were down to our last 15 mil. It was either Songza or Ouya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least let us get some.
Brilliant.
I'm sort of torn on this whole idea personally. Like, I think that if they got more titles, like I was trying to make my app pick this week be the Telltale Games A Wolf Among Us, which is, if you want to buy that season pass on Steam, I think it's like $20. So if Ouya had more of that, and they were churning it out regularly, then I could see $60 a year being worth it. I don't think that they have the momentum yet. But for some people, I think that like they might say, I don't have to worry about my kid coming to me and saying, Mommy, Daddy, I want to get this game. You can buy it. You can let them loose for a year, and that's fine. The only problem is that this does not include in-app purchases. So, like, if it's content, like if it's a DLC, then it does. But if it's like, I need to buy cookies to boost my whatever, it will not include that. So,
is that going to make developers develop more towards in-app purchases and bugging the crap out of us? Because that would
kind of think so.
Likely so. Although I think the industry is still headed in that direction. Like, I just think there's an increase in freemium apps, basically. So I remember reading or watching a video where they were talking about like 95% of the most popular apps, or maybe it's the 95%, I don't know, but are the freemium apps. The freemium apps are where the industry seems to be heading. So,
well, you can look at what happened to Zynga, I guess, as a little glance into the crystal ball of that whole world. People don't like it. Poop.
No. I think it is. This freemium stuff is what. It's what certain companies want to be the future of gaming. I don't think it's going to be the future of gaming.
Do you feel like it's like we get the internet we deserve, we get the democracy or the politicians we deserve as a people? Do we get the?
But we don't get the Ouya we deserve.
We get the gaming experience we deserve because we're all a bunch of cheapskates and nobody wants to pay for games. I'll pay for $3s. That's fine. Here's $2. Go get yourself 2 bags of ramen. Like, okay.
I'm with you, Matt.
Word to that. All right, Eric, what's our email address?
Matt, our email address is show@attackoftheandroids.com.
Fantastic. Join us for Yats tomorrow evening with Ant Pruitt here and possibly even Nick Carroll here. Tell us about some of the I.O. stuff you wrote. Plug that.
Well, I gave my overview from I.O. and I also gave my insight on the world of Chromebooks. I'm going to get into Android TV here next, but I'm still doing my 5-day video highlights for smartphone photography stuff too, so I'm pretty busy here recently.
Hell yeah. Well, good to have you back in Chateau Ghetto.
Nope.
Nick, you got any videos you want to mention before we wrap this up?
I'm still planning on doing a little bit of a Google series. I've actually got the next three days off, so I'll be publishing a lot of videos on my channel the next 3 days. So
nice. That's what I need more of. More days off.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys. Of course, most Tuesday evenings at taggingtheandroids.com. That's our site. Check it out. Subscribe. We're on Stitcher. If you subscribe in iTunes for whatever reason, make sure to give us a review and a rating. We appreciate that. And follow the Twitter page, the Facebook page, Google Plus page, community. We're everywhere. So, all right, guys. We'll catch you next week. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.